looks good, doesn't he?
For a 46-year-old guy, man.
No way.
Stay away from it.
See, here's the line.
Yeah, there you go. Well, clearly you guys are, need to warm up before you come up on stage.
No way. We're ready to go, man. We've been talking about this for a year. This moment, Chicago. Name 3 songs with the word Chicago in it. No. How about you?
No.
Chicago, Chicago. That's all I know.
That's right. Hey, so we have some awesome fans who are super excited to ask some questions, but I'm gonna knock out a couple of early ones just to get it, clear it out of the way a little bit. So, hey.
Super.
Yeah.
Super question. You had to throw that in there. Yeah.
We're gonna use that about 100 times on this panel.
I'll tell you what, let's see. Whoever says the word super today. No, whoever says it today, if they say the word super, everybody has to go boo. So just try not to use the word super if you ask a question. Oh, yeah! There you go. All right.
All right, so quickly, 17 years ago, this first episode aired. Incredible, just the cultural impact that it's had and the longevity it's had, and in fact that it's influenced this new generation of superhero TV shows. When you guys first got involved with Smallville, did you have any idea of like what you were getting yourself into? Like, what was this sort of like? What was in your headspace? Like, what you were stepping into?
Tom.
No, we had no idea. I mean, we were working so hard. It was so crazy. We knew it was special. It was a very special story. We knew it was a very unique way into the story of the character of Clark Kent, because we always knew where the character would end up. It was just a matter of how we went there. So literally, it was about the journey. But to be honest, I don't remember a point ever being like, hey dude, this is gonna go 10 seasons and like 17 years later, we're gonna be on panels and shit. Like, I don't remember that conversation.
No, that's true. I don't. Also, you talk about this a lot, but we were in Vancouver, so we were kind of removed.
Yeah.
We weren't really present around a lot of people. I mean, we were kind of like filming an hour away.
It felt like it's like a submarine. I always said it was like you get in a submarine at the beginning of the season, you go underwater, and then you kind of pop back up at the end.
Yeah, but I think when I saw the pilot, I said, this is awesome.
You said something once, and I think it was in a panel. You said something that you watched like the pilot, and you were like, "Oh my God, I'm on something good."
That's what I did. I've done a lot of stuff, and I never told my parents. I never said anything positive about my career, nor did they. They never were like, "Hey, I'm proud of you, son." Never happened. But I remember seeing like David Nutter, who went on to direct everything and all the pilots. And we were the first kind of all the big shows. The
genre.
I can't say the word because I don't want them to boo me. The super shows. It worked. But I remember going in. David Nutter did the Game of Thrones. He did the last 3 of the
Roswell.
Yeah, tons of stuff. And I saw the pilot, and I looked at him, and I go, "Oh my gosh!" And I went outside, and I called my parents, which I never do, and I go, I think people are gonna know me. This is good."
So take us back, like before you got cast, like where were you in your career? Where were you like, were you in a place where a lot of options, little options? Like what were your sort of, where were you at right before?
Well, why would you assume there wouldn't be a lot of options? I'm just simple. No, I'm kidding. I was bouncing around LA, auditioning for a lot of different things. A lot of my feedback was like, "Oh, that was good. You're green. You're just so green." I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Well, he had been drinking all night.
And I'm like, "Do I look sick?" I just my experience wasn't there. And so when we got onto the show, they were able to really take advantage of me schedule-wise and abuse me. And Rosenbaum, who had experience in the business already, was like, "Dude, it's not supposed to be like this. Like they're using you." And I'm like, "I'm just happy to be here."
Tom is working 17 hours a day, driving with one eye open, and as were all of us. But he was working every day, and I was like, we all got together. We're like, this guy needs a vehicle. Someone needs to drive him in the mornings, or because he is like. He's not Superman. But for me, I was doing like comedies, and I did like this Clint Eastwood movie, and I was doing some things. I was always working, but this was the biggest thing. This was like, all those things were like, "Oh, you're that guy from 2 Guys in a Pizza place." No, that was Ryan Reynolds. Saving Private, no, I went to audition for that. I didn't get Saving Private Ryan. But then I was the bald guy. I was the villain. So that was the first thing, that was the big thing that happened.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine. I mean, Superman's been in our culture. Guys, it's gonna be a long panel, guys.
But it's gonna be a super one.
So the character of the Man of Steel has been around for.
He hates us.
He's like, I don't want to be here either.
I don't even watch Smallville. I'm an Arrow fan. People about what's going on in them.
Star City's
We
cool.
gave you a career, Mel. You hear me, Mel? It's up. Steven Amell's a good friend of both of ours, so we love him. He's honestly a terrific freaking guy. And you can hear him on my podcast, Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, in just a few weeks.
Okay, the question I'm attempting to get to is the relationship between Lex and Superman. It has been
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent, there you go. 8 decades long. What was it like for you guys to meet for the first time, and what did you think about each other?
I don't know if I remember actually meeting you for the first time.
Table read, right?
Yeah, see, I don't really remember that. I do know that however we met, it was very quick and easy. I mean, one of my funnest memories of Michael, he had to shave his head all the time. So when he would show up hours ahead of me. And by the time I got into the makeup trailer, there would be this, crazy hair, 80s band music, like Chicago, or like all these events. And it would be blaring, and I'd just walk over to the speaker and I'd turn it off. And I'd sit down, and he'd be like, "What, dude? It's fucking Journey!" And it was so, what I really respect about Michael is he is so, and I mean this comment, so different than the character. And he was able to kind of like just switch into the character in and out of it so quickly. And I really didn't have that talent or skill. Like I'd be like, dude, I have to concentrate. Like I can't just be funny and then they say action and like get serious. Like give me a break.
Joking around right when they're about to say roll.
Right, and they'd be like rolling. He'd be like, and I'd be like, Lex, where's Lana? Let me focus. So, but we always had an easy rapport, and which built a lot of trust, which allowed us to kind of do some things you see. I mean, I think one of the things that I like about the Clark and Lex relationship is you do kind of feel like this, man, if they could just, they could really have a relationship. Like you really feel like they could be friends, but there was just always, a looming storm that was always above them.
Yeah, and it was easy, like, I just remember you were green, but you were just, there's a lot of good-looking, handsome guys in Hollywood. You're one of them. But there's a lot of... But, he didn't have that sort of air about him. He was just, I don't want to say vulnerable, he was just like a genuinely good dude who wanted to have fun and was interested in the work and wanted to be good and hadn't done tons of acting.
No.
And he was like, hey, like that. I think that's the best quality about you is like you're saying, willing, hey, help me. I don't know how to do that. You don't know how to fix a car, ask a mechanic. If you don't know how to, and you learn, how do I change the oil? And you were always like that. You were malleable. It's a good word, malleable.
You were also helpful. I mean, one of the jokes, the stories that we always say is, I don't know what the line was, but I remember I bust into the Luther Mansion, and our joke is nobody ever knocks on Smallville. People just fucking show up.
Where's the security?
Like, Lex is so important. Like, where'd all the security guys go? So I come in, and I said some line to Michael, like, Lex, why did you do this? And blah, 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 and where's my dad or something? And Michael just goes, do that again, say it, go back, do that again, say it again. Just say that line again, but better. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go outside and the director's like, what's going on? I'm like, don't worry. And I come back in, I say it again, he goes, that was better. And then he said his line back. And when we had that trust, we always kind of looked out for each other.
We would give, like, we didn't want the director involved, or if we did, we just say, hey, we talk to each other. Don't get upset like when I give him direction, he gives me, this is what we do. So we'd have a thing where almost it became like a look in the eye, like a glare in the eye or something, where I'd go, Clark, you don't have to lie to me. I'm your best friend. And he'd go, like an I Dream of Genie wink or something. And I go, let me take that back, Clark. You don't have to lie to me. And I'm like, what do you want, dude? It's like, just say to the director, we got it! So we always were there to help each other. There was no ego. We never fought. I wish there was great stories about us yelling at each other. There was always me yelling at a couple of directors that were dicks, but it was never him, you know. And we just got along and we just ran with it. And I think that's what made it easier. It's just like two guys who were just like, you know, there to get through it together.
So before we go to our audience, I'm sure you guys have done a lot of panels, talked a lot about Smallville. Are there a few questions that you always get asked that we just want to knock out?
Yeah, one
Let's
question.
knock it out. Let's knock it out.
One question I'll just knock out. We can't really talk about the whole thing. You know, if you have any questions, don't ask that question. You know what I'm talking about, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
One of our co-stars, we don't really know anything. All we know is we loved working with her. She was amazing, and she was very talented, and, you know, shit happens. I don't even know, and that's it. And so we don't need to talk about it, but, you know.
And I don't have a favorite superpower.
Any other questions you want to knock out?
I'm not returning to
Favorite
Lucifer.
episode?
Why are you always in drag?
Smallville's never coming back. Except
Never coming
maybe
back.
Are you just
Never coming
fictional?
back. Favorite episode? People ask you that.
Pilot.
There you
Nah, you guys can answer what you want, except Michelle. Stand up, Michelle.
Michelle's wearing her Lex Luthor t-shirt today.
All Michelle does is turn around, just come up to me and smile, ask me for an autograph. It's the first person that she doesn't even say anything. She goes, and I go, hey, how are you? She goes, and I go, where are you from? Just smiles and fucks off. I'm like, oh my god.
Okay, let's go over here. What's your name? There you go.
My name's Angela. I wish I could say I'm your biggest fan, but you know, let's be honest, there's probably a crazier fan out there than me. I'm your biggest redheaded fan, if that's okay with you.
Are you a redhead?
I am. Natural redhead.
I like redheads.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I like all people.
Why don't you come a little closer and ask me a question?
Well, I just like redheaded people.
No, I don't have my glasses on, so like you're a little blurry right now, so.
Michelle's redheaded, right? No? Are you not? I'm colorblind. I am colorblind, right?
Oh, he is. It's very funny.
I am.
Well, I love Smallville. Your portrayal of Clark is why I love Superman, and it will always be my favorite superhero. I don't care. I love it. Thanks. So my question for you, Tom, what's your phone number? No.
818-247-3456.
I said don't make it weird.
Guess whose
Okay?
phone
I
number
told
that
you
actually
guys.
is. I hope
Sorry.
somebody remembers that.
It's not that weird. How old are you?
24.
That's not that weird. And she said 17. Weird! But 24, not weird.
Sorry. No,
In fact, it's
actual
redheaded
question.
cool.
I
My
asked him not to
actual
keep it weird.
It's for both of you. How do you think your characters from Smallville would react to, say, someone like Deadpool coming to Smallville?
It's funny you say that. I feel like if like we were at the Luther Mansion and we were having a conversation, and like Deadpool's like, "Hey, so who's throwing the party?" Clark could like just be like,
Who's this asshole?
well, because the tone is actually just is just a different tone. I mean, I enjoy those movies. I think they're a lot of fun. I like the way that they sort of incorporate all the characters. It's like a team effort. But as far as I think it would just be sort of like, yeah, I think you just nailed on the head.
He's like a loose cannon.
By the way, you guys, you think you have some waters up here for us? Anybody have an unopened water? Is it unopened? Whiskey, drunk. Is that unopened?
Just throw it.
Really? Thank you so much. I know you. Yeah, what's your name? Susan.
I actually know a friend of yours, Ethan Hageman.
Oh yeah! I love Ethan. Ethan Hageman. You guys don't know, but you should.
They will want those waters back though afterwards.
You don't know, but you should. That's funny. Mike,
It's not vodka. No, I'm fine. He's like, oh my god, here, that's water? I'm like Robin Williams.
Michael, they may want you to spit on them, so I don't know.
Jeez, that's not the first time I've heard that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, over here.
Hey, so you guys clearly, Michael, I saw you outside the convention center. You just hanging out like no one was.
I heard you saw your ass. What did you say?
I saw you outside.
oh, these are cold. Thank you.
But I like Turwalk better. Room temperature, good for the body. Go ahead, dude. I didn't hear you.
Go ahead, Batman t-shirt.
I saw, yeah. It's one character we never got on Smallville. Like, I saw Mike outside the convention center just hanging out. No one was walking up to him. I was like, hey, okay.
Thank you.
That's kind of funny. It's the hair. No one
You
recognized
know
him.
what's funny is
Don't keep it weird, man. Are you not listening?
to get back to the hotel, they give us golf carts because my hotel's not that close.
Idiot! Tell you about room 1216, Russell Street. I mean,
Anyway, so the golf cart's there, and this guy Tucker, he's awesome. He's driving the golf cart. He's got this cool hair. He's like, "Hey man, it's kind of crowded on the sidewalks. It might take a minute." I go, "No, it won't." And as we drive, I just go, "Hey man, he's got horrible diarrhea. Excuse me, diarrhea. And everybody parted like it was awesome. We got to that hotel faster than anything could say. That's the first time that kid laughed. I said diarrhea. That's all I said. Right? You got diarrhea right now? No, thank God, Dad. Thank God. I didn't even answer your question. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to put you guys on the spot. Like, I'm gonna make you confer right now. So you guys clearly like each other. If you had the chance to work together again right now, and you had to pick a play to do on stage together, anything, Shakespeare or anything else, go ahead. What would you do?
Shawshank Redemption.
That's a play.
I remember the first time Tom walked in the room. He was tall and handsome. He was vulnerable, and I told him he needed to wipe that vulnerable look off his face. Because he was going to get raped. Sure enough, we became friends. Then I noticed.
We've been working on this. We've been,
Reservoir Dogs. We're
workshopping.
trying Reservoir Dogs. That'd be fun. Who would you play in Reservoir Dogs?
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, that's Quentin Tarantino's character.
Mhm.
That was a small role. Why would you take a small role?
My name in Vietnamese means shrimp.
That's my nickname for my wiener.
All right, thank you.
Hey, just because they can't get weird, we can. He was like, okay, anyway, next question. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Rachel.
Did you say not to ask questions about the TV characters returning or just the show itself? Sorry, first question.
If there is,
Well, I can answer that real quick. The show probably will never come back.
Yeah.
Just because I don't listen. As much as from a fan base, you guys want to see these characters again. There's like multi-billion-dollar licensing fees that have to go out there between Superman and networks and stuff like that. We always joked, and I don't know why we haven't followed up on this, but I know that there are these Smallville comic books that have gone on, and that could be fun to animate and have the original actors voice those characters. I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us, CW,
Yeah.
brothers.
Hashtag animate the Smallville comic books.
Yeah. Next question.
That was my actual question, sorry.
Oh. Glad I could help.
Well, go ahead then.
I was going to say if you guys would be willing to return if they made the Smallville universe one of the Earths in the multiverse of the current DC TV shows.
I don't think so.
Tom.
I don't think so.
You know what? Bring us a great idea, and if it's good, we'll consider it.
Yeah.
That's it. If it's good, so somebody writes something cool.
Thanks.
Nobody? All right.
She's like, no, but
I mean, sorry for not answering that. I think the answer is, we're always up for something, but there's so many of those shows now that, I just wouldn't even.
now they're just those shows.
Yeah, it's like, those shows. They're good shows, I guess. People love those shows.
We like to give the friends that we have that are on those shows,
Yeah.
we do like to give them hard times about just the fact that, like, oh yeah, been there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the schedule, oh man, I'm like,
I'm like, yeah, shave your head, biatch. Yeah. And that guy Grant, who's awesome on the Flash, that dude doesn't even have to work out. He can just wear that Flash outfit.
it's probably a stunt double most of the time. It's not even him.
God, could you imagine You were right. You were talking about like Batman. I was like, hey, go like this. I'm Batman. And you're like, you don't even need to do that because they can change your voice in post-production. You can just say, hey, I'm Batman. Right? And you're like, and then all the stunt guys do our job, and we're Batman for like 3 or 4 days. You don't have to do it. These actors don't do anything.
That was our conversation last night.
So speaking of these other shows, like it's hard to imagine shows that can even make it 10 years anymore. And the fact that Smallville was able to accomplish that, what do you attribute it to? Like, why do you think it kind of stood the test of time over that decade?
Well, the quick answer is, and literally the fans watched it. I mean, it's because of you guys. That's literally the answer. But I thought that the show really focused on heart and character, and we sort of forced ourselves where we had to earn the stunts, we had to earn the action. You know, we couldn't just do a stunt for the sake of it. And I think that we had some really smart people around us to really sort of make that foundation. And then there was a big transition, like season 5, season 6 of the whole Metropolis thing. That was like, it's kind of another show, if you really want to break it down. So I think it just the evolution and the characters and the heart, I think.
And they didn't let things slide. Like, they really took it seriously. Like, every scene, they just didn't let it go. If it looked a little cheesy, they really would try to make it look as good as possible. Remember, most of the seasons were on film. We were still shooting film.
Yeah.
And everything was just calculated and I don't know, not pampered, but like they had a lot of heart about it. They really cared about the characters and the production team, and everybody was doing their job. And
You'll sometimes hear in other productions people be like, "It's good enough. Let's go. Like, we don't have time for this." Not on like multiple people on the crew, directors, actors. Like, it just never came up like that. It was like, okay, we don't have time, but how can we make it better and how can we do it? But it was never just walk away. If you just did that, like there were a few times where him and I would be like, "Oh, it was nice working with them." You know, because I was like, "They're going back."
of course, then you get actors like us, like probably like season like 4, we're like, let's just do a wide shot, 50-50, 2 close-ups, and let's move on. I've got to go to a lunch. I know how to do this. New director come in and go, let's get 4 masters. I'm like, no, never use it. We know how to do it, right?
But then you get a little savvy about what the editing technique of the show is. And people are like doing these spin around shots, and you're like, dude, save yourself.
Remember the one guest star? Oh yeah, we talked about that. The guy who's like, director's like, so anyways, like, look, man, you go back and do what you do, and I'll act. Everything will be fine. We're like, oh my god, who was that?
I remember. You and I looked at each other, and he had like a character, like he had like an arc, and then it turned out to be a 1-episode gig. Like, it was just like, it wasn't mean, it was just like, we didn't have room for that on our set.
Yeah.
It was too hard, what we were doing. There was no room for that kind of
Oh, look at diarrhea kid in the front row stopped paying attention. What happened?
What game is that?
Roadblocks.
Cool.
Roadblocks. When diarrhea came up, your eyes, and then all of a sudden you settled away. No more diarrhea. Boring talk. Let's keep it dirty, guys. Next question.
Next question, please.
At least he has the game
He's
jersey
doing
on.
it. He's gonna do it. He's doing it. There he goes.
Are you filming everything? Let me see this shit. Hey, she's Facebooking live or something. Is that what you're doing? She has to film all this. How boring is this? There's Tom. Diarrhea. Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
Good.
Good. Good to see you again, my friend. All right, let's make these questions
This
faster.
is the best part.
Hey, Cubs! Who's Cub fan? Hey, honestly, who knows Harry Carey? All right, here's my Harry Carey impression. I just gotta do it real quick, Tom. Here's a fella, Dave Concepcion. Hails from Havana, Cuba, where the sun shines 365 days a year. And he misses a pop-up in the sun. Hey, there's the ground ball and a safe for the dirt around. Hey, are you a Cubs fan or are you a Buck fan? Hey, you can go ahead. All right, let's do it. Question.
All right, guys. Tom, if you ever come to Westworld St. Louis, I will get you a mallet and you won't have to try to steal mine.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to know, after 10 years, was there anything you wanted to do with your characters but didn't get to do?
I really felt by the end of the series we had really done everything. Like we had conversations about like, well, there's really nothing left. He needs to grow up now. He needs to move on. He needs to become the guy. So I feel like nothing.
I know what you wanted to do. You wanted it to be over. 400 episodes. Thank you very much. That was a good question. Next question's over there. Go ahead.
Hi.
So kiss a little longer, stay cool a little longer with Big Red. What the hell? Go ahead.
Alright, my question is for Tom.
Always for Tom. Go on.
Michael, I absolutely loved you in Sorority Boys.
Thank you.
Were you and Tom Ellis like play a couple?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was actually really funny because obviously I had to play the guy who wasn't, who was trying to play the case. Tom's character obviously was taking advantage of all liberties that situation allowed, and it was really funny. I really think it was a great way that even the kiss sort of ended up happening, the way they sort of earned it, where it was like a part of the case, but also it was a part of the relationship. It's one of my favorite episodes. We had a lot of fun. It was one of those days where it was like, I think we got it, okay guys, let's move on. I think we got it. But he's hilarious. He's so talented and funny. And
Who's this guy?
Tom Ellis, Lucifer.
Oh yeah, dude. That show was good, man. You did a great job. They should bring your ass back.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have a talk with him.
Hashtag bring Pierce back.
Yes! Woo!
Oh yeah.
Thank you very
What's
much.
your question?
Is it for me?
That's the question. Come on, be assertive. You could be assertive.
Who's your favorite guest star that was on Small?
Who did I fart on?
JTT.
JTT, Justin Taylor Thomas, Jennifer Jason Jonathan Taylor Lee, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I was in this thing, I remember in the hospital, and he walked in and he's supposed to be serious looking around, I just go, and he goes, really, dude? I'm like, hey man, when you're trapped in a little cell, man, you gotta let it go. It's on the outtakes, you can check it out. Thank you, great question. Go ahead.
So I apologize, the question's for Tom. But I am a natural redhead, Michael.
You are a natural redhead?
Yes, I am.
What does that mean?
Well, what did you mean before?
Answer the question. Ask the question. Hi. Merry Christmas.
So Tom,
Kiss my ass.
season 4, episode 6, Transference, where
Oh yeah.
Clark and Lionel switch bodies.
Oh yeah.
You did a brilliant job taking on the role of Lionel, like John Glover's Lionel.
Thank
So
you.
what did you do to prepare for that role? Did you hang out with John?
Well, it's a very good question, and not to get too deep in it. It was John made it easy for me because his mannerisms that he had with Lionel Luthor, he had a lot of movement. There were certain things that he did, and like if you watch a movie called Face Off, a John Woo movie, and you watch the evolution of what those guys did, what they did is both actors set up big mannerisms that were different from each other. So when they switched faces, they just really quickly used those, and you as the audience go, oh, they switched. Okay, I get it. And you kind of just went on the line. So with Lionel, I was able to kind of just incorporate some of his movements. Where John Glover came to me, one day we were in the prison, and he goes, how do you do it? How do you do it? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, how do you do nothing? You know what I'm talking about? And he goes, how do you just stand there and listen and like, just not react? And I was like, well, thanks, John, but I don't really,
You should have said, how do you overact?
I guess I just don't complicate it. And he goes, I complicate everything. And it was like, he literally said to me, he goes, this is one of the hardest things, and this guy is one of the best actors who's ever lived. He really is. John Glover is like one of the best. And he literally was like, this is one of the most challenging acting experiences I've ever had, because he really had to just be still. And so that was a really great episode, which I do remember just
Yes.
for that fact. So good question.
Yeah. And did you enjoy the Bloody Mary?
I did.
Fantastic.
Next question.
Hi.
Redhead. Good job. Diarrhea. How are you?
Good.
When's the last time you had some real, like, diarrhea promos? You don't know? I had diarrhea like 2 nights ago. That was like Chicago pizza. You ever have that? No? Well, you will. He's a good kid. I like him. All right, next question.
Hi, my name's Sam. So, Michael, you've been doing these Comic-Cons. I'm going to step away from the show for a minute. You guys have been, Michael is an online, he's been doing these. You've been doing these for a while. I'm using that and I'm like, nerd. But never mind. So, you've been doing these Comic-Cons for a while. Tom, you just started in April. I saw you in DC. So, what is it like coming to these? Getting to meet the fans, hear their stories. What is that like for you coming in? Michael, I guess you can answer that too.
Redhead.
I really enjoy it because there's a big gap between the work we do and then, sort of actually meeting the fans who watch it and keep us employed. And there's the press that's in between. We get interviewed by people that we have we don't know, who ask us these invasive questions and then manipulate what we say and turn it around and then all of a sudden say, oh, this is what he said, and it's not the truth. And then you guys read it and you're like, wow, he sounds like a jackass. But for us, when we come and get to meet you guys get to share the stories about how the show has affected you, because it's affected you all differently. But I think one of the things about Smallville is it did have ultimately a positive message about life and identity. And it's fun for me to hear how that's different for all of you, but it's helped a lot of people. Some people are like, hey man, it was just cool to watch it. A lot of people are like, dude, my girlfriend and I are now married watching the show. Other people are like,
that couple proposed in front of us.
Yeah,
in LA.
That
in this dimly lit convention center, like, will you marry me? If I were her, I would have punched him out. Remember that was last week.
Yeah. I mean, I had, years ago, when we were still in Smallville, I was walking through the airport, and there was a guy, a soldier in fatigues, and he was about to get deployed. He goes, hey man, are you that Smallville guy? And I'm like, yes sir, I am. And he goes, I gotta tell you man, my sister sent us all these DVDs in Iraq, and I swear we watched every single one of them twice before we opened up your shit. I was like, oh, okay, and he goes, I gotta tell you man, we love it. We can't get enough of it. And he was like, thank you so much. You guys help us get through these hard times over. And I'm like, you kidding me, dude? I'm making a TV show. You're saving people's lives. You're protecting us. Like, thank you. So back to your question, it's inspiring to me to hear the stories about how you guys have been touched and moved and inspired by the show. And again, I don't mean this insincerely. We wouldn't even be doing it without you guys, because if you guys don't watch it, then we're out of jobs. So thank you.
Yeah. Everything Tom said. That was really perfect. It really was. But to add to that, it's like, I mean, you really said it all, bro. But it is amazing that you, like in life, I think we all try to figure out what purpose is. What purpose do we have in this world, right? So we're figuring it out. It's like, is this purpose? What am I doing today on this job or whatever? You're finding purpose. And then we're like, this show isn't purpose for us. We're acting, we're not. But then you see how you connect to other people. You see how something inspired them, something that got through them. One guy came up to me and was like, hey, this is the show my dad and I watched, and now he's passed, and we had those moments and memories together. It's like, put me in tears, and I'm like, wait a minute, I guess this is sort of purpose in a way. It's like, we do something that others appreciate, so it is sort of purpose.
I had a guy walk up, I think he was in London, this guy walks up and he's like, and I'm like, I'm standing at the table and you guys have all come by, I'm not necessarily a small person, and I kind of look up and I'm like, and the guy was like, I can't do a British accent, so I'm not going to try, but it was a very deep voice, and he was like, I just want to tell you that I was bullied as a child, and your show really helped me sort of, get through that. And I'm like, who bullied you? He was gigantic, and he was like, well, I grew late.
I love how you went from an English accent to the cook on South Park. I just want to say, man, hey, here's Jake. Jake, real quick, go ahead.
What was your 2 favorite relationships?
2 favorite relationships on the show? I think for me, it was just our relationship. We just had so much fun working together.
Yeah.
And that dynamic of like best friends becoming enemies, that was like sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? That's it? You got that?
Yeah.
All right, who's over there? Are you a redhead?
I dyed my hair.
Okay. Doesn't matter. We're all good here.
Okay, so I have a question for both of you. How many times do you guys watch other shows and go, hey, I've been on that set before because they reuse sets? Because how many times have we watched
that's
other
funny.
TV shows?
I
and
can
gone,
recognize
that's
Vancouver.
the Luther Mansion.
I can recognize Vancouver and our sets and even vistas. A lot of times it's commercials, car commercials. A lot of car commercials are shot in Vancouver. And I literally, you're right. I totally, my eye goes, I'm like, that's Vancouver.
I was gonna say yeah, because we have Flash and Arrow and all these shows TiVo'd or whatever. So like we watch them all and we try to point out, oh, they shot there. Like I watch them all, every episode.
Do you guys see, I don't necessarily have seen all the episodes of all the other shows, but do you guys see overlapping sets and scenery? Oh, yeah. Is it obvious? Is it?
Oh yeah, Luther Mansion. I forgot what other show it was.
Oh, there was a movie, the X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men.
X-Men was in the Luther Mansion. I couldn't sleep while they were filming that movie. I just was like, just shut up! Thank you. Go ahead, Luther shirt.
Alright. You mean this is not an Imposter Con?
Oh, that show only lasted 2 seasons, but thanks for watching. Hi.
Welcome.
How are you? How are you on your knees? What are you doing? It's weird. Hey, how are you? Merry Christmas.
Alright, question for the two gentlemen up there. Would you guys ever do another superhero game?
Question was answered. Question was already answered.
Different,
No, I'm kidding.
different world, like Marvel per se, just any show in general or movie?
Yeah, I mean, I've never woken up and been like, I'm never gonna do that genre again. I mean, I watch all the Marvel movies. I love all that stuff. They're fun. They're exciting. I love sort of action, seeing people like Fast and Furious. Like, I'm a big fan of multi-genre sort of things. And
Want to hear one thing? I've only seen Iron Man, and I've only seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Whoa!
I'm a big horror movie fan. I was always been even before when I got Smallville and The Flash and all this. I love it and I appreciate it, but I never was like you guys who know everything about it. People come up to me and go, you know this and that. I'm like, I don't know anything.
You did that one horror movie, what, Sorority Boys?
He goes diarrhea. Thank you. Next.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. The waters.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jancy. Hi guys.
Hi, Jancy.
You guys obviously have really great chemistry, and I'm sure the rest of the cast did as well. I'm wondering if are there any notable pranks that any of you guys did, or any of the cast members, or?
He put diarrhea in my toilet, like he did.
It wasn't real diarrhea though. It was like a chili mix.
But it was like 10 pounds of chili all over my shitter and my trailer. And then you had that big guy, Al, come out. Big Al came down the stairs, and I was walking up to my trailer, and I'm like, hey, Al. He's like, hey, Michael, hope you don't mind. I'm like, and I walked up, and all of a sudden, what I thought was diarrhea, front row, was chili all over, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I go, Welling! And I came out, and him and a bunch of the crew guys were just laughing. And I was like,
we had an AD once, a really great like junior camera operator kind of guy, and he's got the utility belt. And he was like, only been on set a couple of days. He's really like ready to go. And we were in between takes, and I don't know, it was like bottled water or something. And I was like, hey man, you got a knife on you? He's like, yeah. And I go, can I borrow it? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I can't, I'm not really supposed to give sharp things to the actors. I knew this. And I go, who told you that? He goes, no, they do tell you that. Like, they're like, don't give actors things. And I go, what do I do? Cut myself? And he's like, So he hands me the thing, and, I was like this, and I was like, ah! And I dropped, and I turned around, and he goes, oh my God! And I was like, I'm just kidding, here's your thing back. And he's like sweating.
what a dick, man.
Just to break the ice. And after that, he was more comfortable.
Tom, who do you think is the most like, I don't want anybody to talk to me in this whole place? You have to look around. It's probably somebody in the way back or the sides. Like, who should I harass that does not want to be harassed? Like right now, they're thinking I'm gonna go after them.
I like the people being pointed at by the people next to
How
them.
about way back in that corner? You see the?
I like back there in the red with the blue, the gentleman with the beard, the red shirt.
Let me find him. Hold
blue
on.
hat.
Find him. Clear the way.
Yeah, he's getting pointed at by probably his
Oh
wife.
my God, your face is redder than the tip of my underwear shorts. All right, you're nervous now?
Yes.
This is why you sat as far as you could away from it.
Wherever she told me I had to sit.
Did you ever watch Smallville?
Yes.
Every episode?
Yes, I did. I never watched that at the beginning. My kid fell in love with it, so we bought the whole series and watched it from beginning to the end.
Give it up!
What was your favorite episode?
What's your favorite episode?
I like the beginning, the first shows, how they went about it, and then I thought it kind of got a little boring, and then the end.
Yeah? Yeah. Can we edit that part out? The boring part? Did you guys ever make out during an episode of Smallville? Did you get horny?
I was too busy watching.
Oh my gosh, she was distracted? Who was the sexiest character in Smallville?
Well, his original girlfriend, I can't remember.
Lana Lang? Kristen Krug? That's a good call. You know I made out with her on the show. I mean, as actors.
I'm jealous.
Yes? So was I. Oh, he goes, no, I'm not jealous. To his wife. All right, give it up. Good job. Tom, anybody else? You see anybody else, Tom?
Point again. Yeah, there you go. That one with the red. Yeah, there you go. Come this way. She's being pointed at by the red sweatshirt. Right here. There you go. Really easy to get to.
Okay, you look like you're. Are you okay? You hate me or you hate her?
Her.
Did you watch Smallville?
Yes, I did.
Which episode's your favorite?
Brady, hurt you.
Fast forward. Did you ever wish Tom was naked on the show?
I'm gonna go with the pilot.
Pilot episode. Back to the naked question.
No habla inglés.
All right, give it up for the show right now.
Good answer. Way to get out of that.
All right, we should do. How much time we got left? 0. All right, we're gonna go blitz through these questions.
Rapid fire. We've done this.
So Tom and I did rapid fire. So Tom, you're gonna ask a question, and we're gonna say the answer immediately.
Yeah.
Quick questions,
Ready, and
people.
go.
Did you ever co-star on Supergirl?
No.
No.
What was the workout regimen like, and how did it change over the 10 years to make you look strong?
Didn't have one. Michael got in really good shape though.
Sort of.
Can you take Stephen Amell?
Stephen Amell's younger and has a better back. He probably could take me, I think.
Okay.
Tom? I get some good punches though. I got a good right hook.
Just wanted you guys to say hi to my brother who couldn't make it.
Hi, brother. Can't make it.
Why are you the best Lex Luthor ever?
Hey man, I think Gene Hackman is, but I'll take number 2, yo. What do you think, Baldy? Yeah, man. I think that's fair.
Number 1.
All right. I love you.
If you guys could, would you guys marry each other?
Actually, I think we could, but no.
Why don't you ask that kid?
I'm not his type.
Ask that again.
If you guys could, would you guys marry each other?
Me and Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? All right. Rapid fire.
What did you think about in the series finale when they erased your memory?
What?
What did I think in the season finale when they erased our memories?
You don't remember.
I don't know.
Don't remember. I don't know. I'll get my memory back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a decent question. I don't know how to answer that one. Come up to my table and I'll figure it out.
Did you guys have a real life crush on any of the actresses or?
Tom?
Nope.
I mean, look, I always had a crush on Kristen. I think she was gorgeous and smart and sweet, but she was like a sister to me. No, that's a lie. I mean, she's not like a sister to me. I always felt like she was too pretty for a guy like me. Wait a minute. I I'm just saying she was gorgeous and she was just that we were you don't
Rapid fire.
Yeah, just a quick answer.
Rapid fire.
Hey, you don't crap where you eat. When you're working, it's professional, right? It better be.
Who would be your dream interview on your podcast?
Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, and I already had my dream one, Tom Welling.
I'm just to embarrass my mom. So, did you wear a hat today because you didn't feel like doing your hair?
Sure.
Who's got good hair?
I started watching Smallville only on season 4. What would you say to someone who's just starting out?
Skip to the final scene of the last episode, series finale. No, check it out. You're in for a treat.
Excellent.
Stop watching after season 7.
Don't skip any. Don't skip any.
What's your favorite season of Smallville?
I would say for Michael, it's season 7. For me, I all of them are very special. I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, I think the first one's probably because it's so special because it was all new and stuff like that. So
Season 1. All right, thanks. 2 more.
If you could have any superhero from the DC universe, who would you have picked that wasn't already on the show?
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. I can. I'm Batman. I'm Bruce Wayne.
Who was your favorite Batman character?
You cheated. You were in that freaking line. I don't even remember your stupid question. I'm kidding. It wasn't that stupid question. What was your question again?
The question is, why are you so awesome?
Me?
Why is he so awesome?
I'm not that awesome. I'm just a guy who loves to just hang out with people, take people's hats and throw them around, stand on my shoe, maybe give this woman a hug. I don't care. Oh, right. That's who I am.
Michael!
Hey, before we let's take a picture with all your fans. Before we do that, we gotta give it up for this awesome cameraman today. Thank you for all your amazing work. Thank you.
Good job.
Hey,
Put yourself on camera.
Let's get up, man. Here we go. Everyone get up. Everybody. Everyone say super. Let's give it up for Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum.